Welcome to the Rising Lotus Qigong. My name is Christina.
And I'm Peyton.
And we're delighted to be with you again for another episode of Qigong and Tai Chi. Up to this point, we've covered a lot of material and we're learning how to do both static Qigong, which is standing in a single place, and adding some stepping into it. This episode, we're going to continue with that. Peyton's going to walk us through some more advanced stepping techniques. But to open our practice, let's go ahead and start with what we know. We'll do some from Wuji, we'll go to Tai Chi, and we'll do some pulling down heavens. So if you're already familiar with these movements, this is the pattern that we're going to follow. Opening, and then we'll do a little bit of ocean waves to build up some chi in the body so that we have something to work with when we start with our stepping. And then after we get to the beginning point, I'll ask, maybe you can walk us through the review of the wall, of what it means to be overextended, and then take us into the next phase of our stepping so that we can learn how to actually move our feet while we're doing these great practices as well.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good.
Let's get started?
Let's get started.
All right.
Okay.
So if we'll go ahead and bring our feet close together and just quickly running through the rules of posture, making sure that your knees are always slightly bent. Never want to have locked knees when we're doing these practices. Bringing your awareness to your hips, go ahead and let these sit down like you're about ready to sit onto a chair. Tuck your tailbone under, which is naturally going to bring in your lower belly. Let the shoulders relax and come down. Hands, the palms actually touch the thighs. The top of the head is going to extend up into heaven. So you have this nice feeling of extension up through the center line of the body, and from the sides of the body, it's like everything drapes downward. This is called our Wuji, W-U-J-I, Wuji in the center. And so what we do in this moment is we bring all of our thoughts and our breath and our physical being into alignment into this center column. Taking a moment to close your eyes, take a deep breath. Let go of any concerns that you might have or any thoughts, bringing yourself fully present into this moment, into this practice. We let our breath stabilize, and as we do that, we've become more aware of our body and where we're standing. I'll invite you to stand in Wuji at another time for as long as you want. This can be a practice unto itself. But for now, we're going to go ahead and bring our weight down to prepare to step into Tai Chi by lifting the left heel, stepping out to the side, shoulder width apart. Glance down, make sure your feet are in the right place, parallel to each other, toes are in alignment. Go ahead and sit into the hips a little bit more. Your hands are going to reach down into the ground, and reaching into pulling down heavens, we're going to move right into the practice. Inhale, pulling up energy from earth. Yin energy rises through the insides of the legs. As the hands come up, they gather the energy of the sun, moon, and stars and bring that down as a column of light through the center of the body. Exhaling. Exchanging this yin and yang energy by inhaling, letting the body expand and reach up. Keep the shoulders down. And exhale, bringing down the energy from the heavens through that center line and all the way past your feet into earth. And one more time, this beautiful exchange of yin and yang. Inhale and exhale. You can do multiple repetitions of pulling down heavens on a separate time if you want to increase the benefits of that. But for now, we'll go ahead and shorten our stance just a tiny bit and come into ocean waves so that we can build chi from the bottom up. In this stance, what we're doing is just keeping the feet a little bit more narrow and shifting our weight from toes to heels, leading with the wrist. Inhale. And exhale, shift your weight back onto your heels and sink. Inhale, shift your weight to the toes and the wrist moves forward. And exhale, back down onto the heels. We're going to repeat this for several repetitions, so let yourself relax into it. And if you like the analogy of a seaweed at the ocean, moving with the waves as they ebb and flow. That's fine. Another analogy is a long blade of grass in a field pushed by the wind. Simply relax and allow yourself to float through this motion effortlessly. Inhale to the front and exhale as you sink. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, lift and fill. Exhale, sink. Inhale, chi rises from the earth to the fingertips. Reach down and grab more. On this 3rd repetition, we'll end at the beginning posture for our Tai Chi. Elbows are heavy, shoulders are down, and the hands rest as they're like on top of a ball. Your fingers are slightly pushing forward and extended. Don't let the fingers drip. Let them reach out like you're reaching for something, which is going to help guide energy up to the fingertips so that all parts of your body are activated. If this is where you're stopping, go ahead and inhale, because Peyton's going to walk us through some stepping. If we're going to inhale, bring that energy back in and root it on the way down with an exhale. After he's done walking us through the stepping, then we can learn how to move from here into the next step. But for now, let's go ahead and listen and see what's in store.
Okay, so what we'll begin with first is we're going to review the wall. So our movement of our side to side motion.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and we'll practice that a little bit.
Sure.
So go back out into your Tai Chi posture, feet are shoulder width. I'm going to come and tuck our tailbone underneath, flex the knees, lift through the spine. Good. And let's go ahead and we'll do like we did before. We'll place the left hand on our hearts and the right hand will be on the belly. Good. Go ahead and take a look down and see what that alignment is between the 2 hands. What we don't want to happen is we don't want that alignment to break left or right, which would show that we're actually leading with our shoulders, either left or right. We want it to stay and remain stacked as we move left or right. From this position, what we're going to do is we're going to take the muscles of the insides of the left leg and we're going to pull ourselves over to the left. And it's very little movement, maybe an inch or 2. Look down, make sure your hands are still lined up. Good. Go ahead and take a look down at your knee and your foot on the left side. They should be lined up and stacked right on top of each other. If you've gone too far, you'll look down, you'll see that that knee maybe is collapsed inward or rolled way far out from the toes or the ankle, and you'll notice that these hands have now separated. We want that upright posture on that side. Cool.
I was playing around with the angles there.
There we go. Shift back into the center. And let's go to the other side now. We tend to start with our left mostly, but let's go to the right. So we're going to shift over and shift our weight onto the right, pulling those inside muscles of the right leg. Take this moment to see where the hands are located. Feel and check the bottom of your foot. We should be totally flat on the floor. The ball and the heel are activated. The foot shouldn't feel like it's rolled outward or inward. Go ahead and look down, see that the knee is over the top of the ankle. Good. Come back into the center. And let's go ahead and we'll shift over to the left. Just make this one continuous movement, just like we're sliding across a bench. We're not bobbing up and down, just sliding left. And now let's slide back to the right. Get that feel for what that feels like. Sliding left and sliding right. Nice, even and level. Feel the differences in pressure of the bottoms of your feet. Sliding back to the left. More weight is on the left. Slide to the right. More weight is on the right. Your knees should be solid and stable on the left side in the right posture. Sliding and pulling over to the left. The right knee should be solid and stable in this posture. Good. Coming back into the center, let's drop our hands. And go ahead and step out of that for just a moment. Some things that you'll notice that can happen if you go too far is you'll notice there'll be tightness in your lower back, or pain either on the outside or inside of the knee. So we're not looking for any of those things to happen. If so, that means that the hips are probably being shifted too far, or our shoulders are shifted too far left or right.
Yep, and I also want to note that if you're new to this practice, because we're learning how to keep our knees bent for extended periods of time as we stand up,
Yep.
it's pretty common for people to feel a little bit of tenderness in the knees and or in the quads in the front.
Correct.
As the body gets used to standing and doing exercise with bent knees and doing these micro movements. So you'll have to look at yourself and understand what your constitution and your body is like, as to whether it's you're working too hard or your body is conditioning and getting prepped. So there's the possibility for either one of those happening.
Yep. Yeah. You can practice this particular thing just like all the other ones that we've done so far as a short little Qigong, Tai Chi style practice, all in its own. Just practice shifting left and right. Mm-hmm. Be sure to breathe. Breathing going to the left, inhaling coming into the, exhale to the left, inhale to the center, exhale to the right, and inhale to the center.
Maybe we can quickly go over also, as we're learning the wall, what the quads are and what's happening with that.
Sure.
We can throw that in there real quick.
So we have, if we go back into our Tai Chi posture, we flex those knees, feel that our feet are flat on the floor, our crown is lifted, our shoulders are relaxed. When you tuck the tailbone under slightly and you contract the frontal lower abdominals, you should feel, if you flex the knees a little bit more, space that opens up in this inguinal fold area right here. If this is really, really tight, it means that your hips are pushed forward. So what we want to do is we want to press the low back backward a little bit, and you should start to open up this room here in this inguinal fold. So when we do our shifts from left or right, or we're stepping and turning, that inguinal fold is the thing that actually is contracted or is filled to the side that you are actually sliding over to. So now what I've done is I've slid to the left, Christina's went to the right.
Oh, I'll go this way.
It's okay. And so now that fold is actually folding upon itself, and you should feel then the opposite, it's closed.
Yep.
And the opposite side should be open. So you should feel a nice flow and openness throughout the leg and into the hips and the lower abdominal area. If we slide back over to the right, this one closes, this one opens. It's folding or collapsing on itself.
Yep. And one thing I'll add to that is you can also know if you're in the right place with your knees, because if I'm weighted on my right leg and this quad is closed and this one is open, if my left knee is dropping into the center, then this quad is going to be closed as well.
Yep.
So keeping that good knee alignment where we keep that knee pushing out towards the side ensures that, and if we're sitting in the right place, then this side stays open and this side is not fully closed, but it's more closed than this side. And so as we move and we step, there's this feeling like roundedness in the lower part of the body that we want to maintain. So all of the different angles that we can move in and shift in make a difference into how well connected we are at the bottom.
For sure. So if we even just take the moment or take time to practice this sliding, this opening and closing of the quad or the inguinal fold in this way, we'll start to realize that all of our movements, Qigong, Tai Chi, all originate from the hips with our legs as the engine or the driving motivator as it pushes through, and that our hands and shoulders are a byproduct of this shifting and then eventually turning that we'll do. Okay?
I'm playing.
You're playing? That's good. Just remember, shift left and right, and you're pulling with the leg the direction that you want to go in. So if I want to go to the left, I pull with the inside muscles of the left leg. If I want to go to the right, I pull to the inside muscles of the right leg. Knees are still nice and firm. Both of them are solid and stable, and I'm level as I shift. The shoulders, the head, and the hands and arms at this moment are not really doing anything. They're just along for the ride, shifting left and shifting right. Cool. Okay, let's come back up. Let's bring the feet closer together. What we'll talk about now then is we'll add a step in here. We introduced stepping in the previous episode really quickly for something for you to practice. But let's go ahead and we'll do a quick review of that, and then we'll add a little bit more to it.
Okay.
So let's bring both feet together. Good Wuji posture. We're going to flex those knees. Make sure both feet are flat on the floor. Our hands are on our thighs. The middle finger should be the seam of your pants. Should be right down the edge of the seam of those pants. That way we get our shoulders in the proper position. Pressing the lower back out or tucking the tailbone, either one should create some hollowness within your lower and middle dantians. Good. Just breathe. Breathing in. Breathing out. Relaxing. Breathing in. And breathing out. As we breathe in, we're going to shift our weight more onto the right foot. The left heel comes up off of the floor. We're going to take the left toes and we're going to step out to our left. Just go ahead and place that foot down onto the ground. Take a moment to look down and see that you have an L position going on here. If your foot is a little bit behind the heel of the right foot, the left foot is, that would be the perfect position. But if you are just out to the side, that is totally fine for right now. Cool. What we're going to do now is we're going to take and we're going to use our shift, and we're going to now shift over onto that left leg, using those inner muscles to pull across. Then we're going to turn our upper torso and we're going to face to the left. Excellent. The next position here, we're going to shift back onto the right foot and turn to the front. Left toes point forward. And then we're going to shift over to the left back into the center. Excellent. Let's do that stepping motion one more time. We're going to shift to the right, pick the left heel up, bring it in to the right foot. Good. Now take that right toes, step out to the left, pointing off to the left, set the toes onto the floor, shift left, turn your upper body to the left, looking off to the left. Excellent. Shift back to the right, turn the left toes to the front, pick the left heel up off of the floor, bring the left foot to the right foot, set it down onto the ground. Good Tai Wuji posture. One more time. Three's a charm. Right foot weighted, left heel unweighted, comes up off the floor. Step out to your left, heel to the floor, toes down. Shift left, turn left, look to the left. Excellent. Shift right, toes up of the left foot, toes turn to the front. Heel comes off the ground of the left leg, bringing your foot over next to the right foot, heel down onto the floor. Good Wuji position. Excellent. Go ahead and step out of that, take a break for a moment. You might shake your legs out a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, so I can see what we're trying to do is maintain our alignment staying up, so that shifting side to side helps me to realize that as I'm stepping, I'm not leaning into that way forward, but rather I want to keep that upright alignment. Yep. So I realize it might be a bit of a challenge to know where to put my foot as I step out to the side.
Yes.
So what pointers might you have for people who are learning how to, lower your center of gravity deeper onto the right leg as you step out with the left foot? In other words, kind of there's a lot of angles here.
Yes, there are.
How do people know where to go?
Well, depending on your balance and your mobility of the lower body, when you're stepping out in the very beginning, it's totally fine when you bring that left foot off of the ground to just step out and place the right foot left foot heel onto the ground, and then left toes come down onto the ground. A more advanced motion of this would be to lower your weight pretty good bit onto the right leg. Heel comes off the ground on the left foot, and then we're going to rotate out and around, putting the heel down onto the ground. Notice that it goes slightly forward and over to the back. And if you were to look, I have a little bit of space between each of the heels of the ground, on the ground. As I set my foot down and I'm shifting my weight, being upright, I'm going to have this nice little movement that will actually set the hips up into the right place. You want to try that?
Yep, let's go through that one more time.
All right, so good Wuji posture. Flex and shift your weight onto the right foot. Left heel comes off the ground. Pick that left foot up, swing around and out to the outside, setting the left heel down onto the floor. Shift your toes, laying them flat on the floor. Shift my weight, sliding over to the left side, turning to the left, looking left. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Shift back to the right side. Left toes come to the front. Heel of the left foot comes off the ground. Pick it up, pull it in next to the right foot. Set the right heel down onto the floor. Equal weight distribution, good Wuji posture.
Can we try it to the other side now?
Yep, let's try it to the other side. We'll have to
Okay.
shift.
Okay, let's take a step over.
All right.
I'll follow you.
Good Wuji posture. Now we're going to shift our weight onto the left foot. The right heel comes off the floor. Go ahead and pick up the right foot. First time, set it down onto the ground, heel first. Good. Right toes go down onto the floor. Shift to the right. Turn at the waist to the right, looking right. Good. Shift back to the left. Right foot toes point forward. Right foot heel comes off the ground. Bring it over to match the left together. Heel on the floor. Good Wuji posture. All right, a little bit more advanced. Shift your weight onto the left foot. Right heel comes up. Right foot sweeps out, putting the heel onto the floor. Toes onto the floor of the right foot. Shifting, turning, looking right. Shift back to the left. Right toes forward. Weight onto the left leg. Right foot heel comes up. Bring the foot up to match the left. Foot flat on the floor. Equal weight. Good Wuji posture. Let's go one more time. Weight the left. Right foot off. Sweep around. Heel to the ground. Toes to the ground. Shift. Turn. Look right. Shift to the left. Shift back. Right toes forward. Pick up the right foot. Bring it next to the left foot. Equal weight. Good Wuji posture. Excellent. Take a moment to step out. Walk around in the space just a little bit. It's probably a really great workout on our legs.
If you feel like your knees are a little bit tight or your legs are shaky, there's a couple of things that you can do to work out some of the excess in here. So for your knees, you can make rotations around the knees, and you can use your hands to do a light brushing massage on the knees themselves, and you go in both directions, first to one side and then to the other side. The caveat of this one is to make sure that if you do have any type of knee replacement, you want to do a smaller circle, maybe just to sway side to side to avoid any type of further injury. Another thing that you can do is simply stretch down to the ground and stretch out your thighs that have been doing a lot of work,
yes,
keeping you up. And that would mean either touching the ground or as far as you feel comfortable going forward. If you don't have any knee replacements and you've got really healthy knees, then you might want to stretch it out this way as well. So make sure that you take care of your body. You might need to do some hip rotations to keep the muscles from becoming too tight. But like we said before, as your body gets used to working in these areas where it doesn't normally operate on a day-to-day basis, some tenderness might happen. So be gentle, pace yourself, take your time, and work within your comfort zone.
Can't stress enough just to be easy on the body and practice a little bit, once, twice, 3 times a day, a couple of minutes, shifting, stepping, shifting, forward and backward.
And what's next? Are we going to be moving our hands next?
Yep. So the next thing that we'll do in the next episode is we're going to add holding the ball, and then we'll do part wild horse's mane. So that we're going to link the lower body and this shifting with our hands.
Great. I can't wait to do that. So that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Stepping and then doing all of these hand movements.
That's correct.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, thank you for joining us. Be sure to practice and breathe.